My name is Wainer, and I'm from Long Island, New York. I represent self-expression, freedom of self-expression. In my previous job, which was for a healthcare organization, I was very restricted in what type of hairstyles I was allowed to wear at work. And I really wanted to get an undercut and have part of my head shaved, which was looked at as unconventional and didn't really fit into the dress code at my workplace. And because of that, I had to wait until I quit, and after I put my 2 weeks notice in, I ended up getting the undercut, and I loved it. I got a bunch of different reactions, not so great reactions when I wore my hair in a ponytail at work, but mostly really positive. And I realized that, when I had that haircut, I felt so much more myself outside of work, and I really felt great. And not everybody has that privilege, especially people who are in a corporate workspace or in a school setting, and that really restricts their ability to be self-expressed with their hair, and really, has them close off a part of their, true color, so to speak, and, makes you feel like you wouldn't be accepted if you showed who you really are. So I wanted to start the conversation around that and ask why. Why is it such a big deal how someone wears their hair? Why is it such a big deal if a woman shaves part of their head, or if someone decides to dye their hair blue? Does that make them any less capable, any less productive? Does that somehow change what they're capable of? And I think the answer to that is really no. So I wanted to start an initiative to get the conversation going around self-expression in hair, and change the rules and regulations for dress codes in corporate America as well as schools, to allow people to wear their hair however they want, however they feel comfortable with and good about themselves, as long as it's well kept and clean. So the vision behind my cause is, to just initiate these conversations by taking pictures of people in New York City and other cities around the United States that have unconventional or wild hair, and get their story, so their name, what they're up to, and their thoughts on self-expression in hair, and whether or not they feel that they should be allowed to wear their hair however they want, especially in corporate America or other areas, jobs that would look down upon or not allow wild or unconventional hairstyles. And I'm going to be posting pictures every other day on my Instagram, Hair of New York, and I'm also going to release blog posts discussing this topic as well, and giving examples of where people were discriminated against because of their hair, or even some cases where children were suspended from school because of their hair, prevented from learning, or didn't get into an MBA program because they had to cut their dreads off. And so that's the vision, to just really get the conversation started on blogs and release the photos in my Instagram. The resources that I need are people with wild or unconventional hair to submit their story through my blog. You could submit a picture of just your hair. I'm trying to really show how hair is such a big part of your self-expression that you could almost be identified by your hair instead of your face. So pictures of just your hair from the back or the side, and your story as far as what are you up to, and your thoughts on self-expression in hair. There'll be a space on my blog where you'll be able to submit those stories. People can get involved not only by submitting their own personal stories through the blog, but also if they are inspired and somebody who is in a workspace that currently doesn't allow for wild or unconventional hair in the workspace, to start that conversation with the necessary people within the workspace to have that dress code changed. And you could use my blog and the posts, as well as the support of multiple people and their stories, to start that conversation and really have some solid ground to change the dress code and reasons why people should be self-expressed and be allowed to feel safe to show their true color, so to speak, and be accepted for exactly who they are. So my blog is on Tumblr, and my username is Hair of New York, Hair of NY. My definition of peace is a world in which everybody can feel accepted for exactly who they are and for their true colors. And they can feel safe to have whatever hairstyle they want and be accepted for whatever their ethnicity or religion. And because of that feeling of acceptance, they could accept themselves, which helps us love ourselves more. And when we love ourselves for exactly who we are, we're much more able to love others and accept others for exactly who they are. And if we could all just accept each other for who we are, then it would be a much more peaceful world. Don't be afraid to express yourself exactly how you are and to accept yourself for your own true colors, regardless of what anybody else thinks, because that's how change will happen. As soon as we start to accept our own selves for who we are, we become less judgmental of everyone else. And if we stand strong in being exactly who we are, then it gives others the courage to do the same. Yeah, so I'm going to start releasing the photos and stories on my Instagram starting February 14th, Valentine's Day, because it represents the love for all hair. And that's also going to be with a blog post. And I'm going to be releasing blog posts once a week and images every other day. And that's when you'll be able to get involved and see your story in my Instagram feed as well.